In this video, we're reviewing Heart Eyes and getting lovey and bloody with a cocktail called the Bleeding Heart. Today on the Martini Shot. Hello and welcome to the Martini Shot, the home of movie reviews and movie-themed cocktails. Before we get into the review, let's whip ourselves up a drink, shall we? So the Bleeding Heart is going to be a bit of a blackberry gin sour riff. Now this is going to be a shaken cocktail, so go ahead and grab a shaker. First, you're going to be starting with some fresh lemon juice at 3/4 ounces, 1/4 ounce of maraschino liqueur, 1/2 ounce of Chambord or a blackberry liqueur of your choice. Blackberries have been known as kind of an aphrodisiac for a while, so it feels kind of right at home in this drink for Valentine's Day, wouldn't you say? Then follow that up with 2 ounces of gin. I'm using Empress gin just because that's what I have on hand, but feel free to use any gin of your choice. Then we're going to add a dash of grenadine just for a little bit of color. And finally, like most sours, 1 whole egg white. So you can go ahead and seal up your shaker. First, we are going to be dry shaking the cocktail. That means shaking it without ice. That's going to allow the egg white to properly emulsify and give the cocktail the nice creamy texture we're looking for. Do that for about 20 seconds, making sure you keep that shaker tight, making sure none of the drink shoots out on you. I know it's Valentine's Day, but come on, guys. And then once you're done with that, go ahead and throw some ice in that shaker and shake to chill. And now you're going to go ahead and strain that into a chilled coupe glass. And then this next part is completely optional, but I feel like it really brings the whole cocktail together. I've went ahead and drawn up a simple little cocktail stencil in the shape of a heart. Using that, along with a little bit of strawberry powder, is going to make for a cute little heart design to go right on top of the foam. And there you go, now you have a bleeding heart. That's super good. Like I said, it's kind of like a blackberry gin sour, but it also almost kind of tastes like a last word a bit just because of that gin component as well as the maraschino liqueur. The lemon and the blackberry is super bright, super right in your face when you take that first sip. But on the back end is when you start to experience those botanicals, both from the gin and the maraschino. It all pairs super, super well together. And of course, thanks to that egg white, the body of the drink is nice, thick, creamy, the exact texture you're looking for with a sour cocktail. Sour cocktails really are one of my favorite variations of cocktails. They're so versatile, and I feel like every time I make one, no matter how I change it up, as long as I follow the kind of somatics that come with making it a sour, it always turns out great. Now that we have our drink, let's get right into the review. Who says that Halloween has to be the only holiday we associate with horror movies? Sure, it may be the spookiest month, but there's enough pent-up bloodthirst all year round, and baby, we gotta get it out from New Year's to Christmas. The flexibility of horror is why it's such a fun genre to tackle, and we've seen in the past that if there's a holiday, someone can get brutally murdered during it. St. Patrick's Day, Thanksgiving, hell, even Independence Day. Truly, there is no holiday where you are safe from some sicko trying to ruin the fun. And Valentine's Day is no different, and it honestly kind of makes sense. It's a holiday often filled with unrequited feelings that can boil to a breaking point that just makes you want to cut someone's head off. Not talking from personal experience if my wife happens to be watching this. From the obvious, like My Bloody Valentine and Simply Valentine, to the somewhat adjacent Bride of Chucky and The Loved Ones, it's clear that romance and murder is a match made in heaven. And now we have Heart Eyes throwing its creepy custom gas mask into the ring of holiday horror movies. The film centers around a mass killer that emerges every Valentine's Day to kill unsuspecting couples just trying to feel the love in the air. This year, Allie, a struggling pitch designer, is unintentionally thrown into a meet cute with fellow designer Jay, and one kiss is all it takes for the Heart Eyes killer to set his bright red sights on these two lovebirds in denial. Sounds pretty basic and predictable, right? Yeah, that's because it is. For slashers to work for me in this modern era post-Scream and Cabin in the Woods, the film needs to be bolstered by a few things. Mainly its setup, its writing, and its kills. Unfortunately, Heart Eyes only succeeds on occasion, hardly ever throwing me for a loop or gushing with enough personality to truly stand out in my eyes. It does have some fun deaths, and occasionally the writing got a laugh out of me, but come on. We've seen this song and dance before, and it wasn't exactly executed well enough to make me want to see it again. Take our two MCs, Allie and Jay, played respectively by Olivia Holt and Mason Gooding. Both are no strangers to the slasher genre, with Holt appearing in 2023's Totally Killer and Gooding appearing in both of the latest Scream films. I think each of them do an okay enough job, but for a film that kinda needs to revolve around the romantic chemistry of its leads, I honestly wasn't feeling the connection. Their dynamic is pulled right out of a million Hallmark movies, a busybody girl who has given up on the idea of love and the hot prince of a man that's going to turn it all around for her. Truth be told, I don't have a problem with this kind of setup if it's going to play against expectations. And the film kinda does this at first, as the two constantly have to shout at the Hard Eyes killer that they aren't in love, as if that's going to stop him from hunting and killing them. Their budding romance is very predictable, and I honestly think it would have been funnier if it didn't happen at all. Like, the whole reason the killer is following them is because they kissed in order to make her ex jealous, and I think it could have been much funnier to actually make them hate each other. The film could have started out with the possibility of them being together, but then it all gets dashed as soon as the knives come out. Then you could have had a few wacky setups of them trying to show how much they aren't in love, like trying to screw each other over when the killer is after them, only realizing later they need to band together to stay alive. It could have been a bit of an anti-Valentine's film with this as well, but I get them wanting to make this a holiday classic that couples could throw on every year. As we know from horror films, if there's love or lust in the air, stabbing and maiming is sure to follow. The brutality in the film wasn't as consistent as I would have liked, but when it hits pretty satisfyingly. The film opens with a newly engaged couple getting murdered, with the bride-to-be getting squished in a vat until she's reduced into a crimson barrel of blood wine. It's disgusting and funny, and it really revs you up for more kills like that. And then the movie just kinda stops doing them. Yeah, the film segues really quickly into romantic comedy territory, which goes on for so long that you might actually forget you're watching a horror movie. I get it's there to develop the lead's relationship, but I still feel like more could have been sprinkled in to let us know a killer is still out there. We hear about Hard Eyes' next few kills on the news, but I think we could have afforded to see these murders played out, even if only for a few brief moments. But luckily, the back half of the film is mostly a chase that happens all in one night, which means we get to see a lot more gory kills. Heads roll and skin holes get made, and these scenes are definitely the highlight of the film. As for the comedy, I found it to be pretty hit or miss. There's some great lines and deliveries here, but not everything lands. The film isn't bogged down by copious amounts of irony like you might expect from a genre that's really run its course, but even still, I kinda wish it was a bit more clever in how it presented the main relationship. Again, I just think it would have been way funnier if they hated each other. The funniest moments in the film are usually involving the two of them arguing, so can you blame me for wanting to see more of that? Maybe it could have gone more out there, crafting a world that felt like an artificially peppy Hallmark movie that the two leads could have contrasted against, almost revolting against a world that is trying to drive them together, and now they're gonna get killed for it. Despite me thinking this film is just fine, I still see the potential in this to entertain audiences. It delivers on more holiday-themed horror that many seem to enjoy, with a twisted Cupid ripping the hearts out of as many lovers as he can. The leads are charming, even if their chemistry didn't always work for me, and the kills are a bloody good time that I just wish we got to see more of. It's not going to rejuvenate the slasher genre or make you view the holiday through a different lens, but I wouldn't call it a slog if you're looking to have a decent short watch with your boo and or bae. Alright, what's the next holiday to get a horror movie? I'm thinking Arbor Day. Trees come to life and start killing us as revenge for deforestation. Wait, I think M. Night already did that one. For my rating, I'm giving this film 2 crossbows out of 5. Guys, thank you so much for tuning into the Martini Shot. If you saw Hard Eyes, let me know what you thought about it down in the comments. And if you like what you saw here and would like to see more, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow me across all social media channels. Those links are down in the description below. And if you enjoy movie reviews and movie-themed cocktails, be sure to check out my website, martinishot.blog. If you're a returning viewer to the channel, you may notice my setup is a little bit different this time around. I just recently went through a pretty big move and still trying to figure out exactly how I'm going to keep shooting this show going forward. So things may change, presentations may be altered. I just ask that you be a little bit patient with me as I try to figure this stuff out. But with that out of the way, thank you again for watching. I will see you in the next one. Live deliciously, but please remember to drink responsibly.